Hello everyone, hope that you are doing well today. And in this video, I'm going to be decluttering and cleaning for summer. And I'm also going to be showing a DIY craft that is for summertime that I hope you will enjoy. And so continue watching and we will get right into it. Okay, so I am in, I guess, what I would like to call the art room, where I do my paintings and stuff. And so this is in the corner of the room, and I really want to clean this up, get it organized. And so I have this bin right here that I want to put these clothes into. And I'm hoping that I can throw away some of this other kind of miscellaneous stuff, and then some of these bags I'm going to organize, and I might move the canvas to somewhere else. I'm not really sure yet. And so yeah, we're going to tackle this first. Okay, so I have a couple of piles of things, and so that is a pile of I don't know what's wrong with them. And then that's a pile of I might keep them as is. I'm not even exactly sure why I have them set over here, because a lot of these things are for things to either fix or sew together or make it into something entirely different, because I don't like the fabric texture or I don't like how it fits me. And then this is the pile of I'm just getting rid of it. I'm going to throw them away. A lot of this stuff, the reason I don't like it is because of the material. Like, a lot of this I feel would be very hard to work with, to sew with. This one in particular is very old, this shirt. I don't know, there's just like certain things in here that I feel like aren't even worth donating, just because a lot of this is already thrifted, and I don't know, some of the texture and the smell of the clothing isn't always the greatest, so I'm just gonna wind up getting rid of that. And I'm just happy that I was able to fit what I could in the bin and it still look pretty organized and not overflowing like how it was. And so I'm going to probably wind up moving everything over here so that I can vacuum over here. And so the next thing I'll be doing is decluttering some of this. I think I'm going to have to get a trash can or just like a bag, just so that I can get rid of some of these things. So I've got a couple of weird things in this pile. I have some paperwork that I need to keep. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this stuff. And these are some projects that I have been working on and I just haven't finished. I plan to, in the future, get a sewing machine, and I also need to get more yarn. We ran out of like white yarn. And I keep forgetting to get it when I go to the store. And so I've got these projects that I need to finish. I'm just gonna set it over here. And I've got these. Got some binders with other paperwork in there. I usually would like decorate this for each season and put something in there. I might want to get creative and do something again. Okay, so this is a bookmark. And these are books that are from the dollar store, and a lot of them are not well written, or like that there's imperfections, like they've messed up the sentences or they misspell the words. And so well actually these aren't, but these are. And what I was gonna do was do like a DIY craft with the paper and create things like with the paper, but I'm gonna get rid of them for now because they've been sitting there for a very long time and I haven't done anything. And then these are books that I'm probably not gonna read. I've got I got some perfume just sitting over here, and a keychain. I've got a koozie that I made a long time ago that needs to be cleaned, and then I've got these camera cases that are very dusty. I have this in here. I gotta get film for it. It's so old. I don't even know if they have the same type of film, or maybe that they have like a newer one that can still fit. Yeah. I'm gonna put these guys somewhere else. I'm just sort of setting everything aside for right now. And then this there's a bunch of stuff in. We're going to put that over. And then I'm going to move the canvas. And I want to get this area vacuumed before I put everything back. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what that is, but I'm gonna try and clean it up. I just have some soap, a little bit of soap and water in a spray bottle, and then I also have some, this isn't what it is, it's just a multi-surface cleaner that's in here. Okay, I feel like that came up a lot better than what I thought it would. Okay, now I am just gonna get the dust off of the edge. Okay, now I am going to be moving some things back into the corner. I have a bunch of like sewing materials that's in here. I didn't even know this was in here. That's pretty cool. Okay, so this is what I got it looking like now. I've put the cases over here, and then I put the other case over here on the door, and I put the stuff in just over here in the corner, and then I've got everything that I need in this bin, and then the sewing projects that I'm working on, I just decided I'm going to set it on top, just because I don't really have another place to put it at the moment. And so, yeah, I am very pleased with how this is and how this looks. And so now, you know, it's a little bit easier to open the door and not have a bunch of stuff in the way. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to be focusing on is decluttering the cabinets underneath of the sink in the bathroom. I'm going to be first taking everything out, and then we're going to be wiping it down, and then I'm going to be putting everything back and organizing it and making sure that everything has a place. Okay, I was able to organize, and a lot of the times when it comes to organizing, it's just like getting all of the cords not tangled and just sort of put together. And yeah, wiping everything down always helps as well. Kind of gives you an idea of what to do with a blank slate. And so we're going to be moving on to the next cupboard. and this is an area in the kitchen that I want to declutter here on the shelf. I don't want to do all of it, I just want to do the section with the tools and with the plastic trays for the microgreens. And I'm hoping in the future that we can grow some more, because I do like having the microgreens. We just gotta save up some money to get some soil, and then we'll probably do it during the winter time, because that is a nice time to have some greens, is during the winter time. Okay, so this is the part we are going to be doing our DIY craft. And so some of the materials that you need, you're going to need some tissue paper. I have, excuse me, I have the blue and the green specifically, and you can choose any color really you want, but for what I'm doing, it will make sense. And then I have these 2 lights that will be put inside the jar. I also have this piece of rope that is one big loop, and all I did was just tie a knot to create that. And then we are going to have some extra rope as well. And then you're going to need 2 jars, and I'm going to be painting the jars as well. And honestly, you can paint whatever you want, but because this is a summer theme, we're going to have one with bumblebees on it, and then the other one is going to have clouds on it. So whatever paint color that you feel that you want to do, that you think is going to look nice, then go ahead and choose those, and we will get right into it. And then the other thing that I will be using is a hot glue gun, and I have a piece of cardboard that I'll be laying down on the table so that later on we can hot glue the rope together. And I also have some water and my palette. So I think the first thing that I'm going to wind up doing is painting the bumblebees. And I'm going to kind of paint them in, I guess you could say, like a cartoonish kind of way, because I'm going to create little lines as if it's flying away. Now I am putting a lot of paint on here. I probably shouldn't be doing that, but that's okay. So I do have these smaller brushes, and I don't know exactly. I might wind up just using this one and this one. So we'll see. So I'm gonna show some ways on how I like to do this, and then I'll probably wind up switching the brush and add another details, and we'll just continue on. Alright, so I'm first gonna go into the yellow. And I'm just going to kind of paint almost like an oval. I'm going to paint in a couple of different spots. I don't want my hand to get in the way, so I'm going to avoid going down below at the moment. Yeah, so make them go in different directions. You know, you could even have them different sizes. Maybe you want like small ones, and maybe you want like a really big one. You can put as many or as few as you want. Kind of like the idea of putting a lot. I think it would look cool. And so I have an idea of what I'm going to do at the bottom. I think I'm going to wind up putting like grass at the bottom. So I'm not going to go too far down below. Okay, I'm going to go into the black now. And we're going to go around and paint where its head will be. Alright, the paint might still be wet, so you could either wait for it to completely dry, or you kind of do what I'm doing and just get like a thicker glob of paint on there. Oh, that was kind of big. It's okay though if mistakes happen, because you can just fix it. Okay, I'm going to be switching off to a smaller brush. And now, I guess what you could do is go back and fix up any mistakes with the black. And then what I'm going to do is just start creating a couple of lines. And there you go. Now, I am aware that this does not look perfect, but that's sort of what I like about it. I like almost the kiddish look. Alright, so with this one up there, I'm going to put more yellow paint on. Alright, I cleaned off my brush, and now I'm going to go back into the yellow and just kind of tidy it up a bit. Yeah, be careful with black getting on your brush. You might have to get a paper towel or some sort of rag and keep cleaning off your brush if you see that black is lingering on. Now you could have done this differently. You could have done another yellow coat, wait for that to dry, and then put the black on, but I didn't do it that way. Okay, So now I'm going to be putting the wings on, and I think what I'm going to do is make a gray color. So I'm going to be mixing black and white, and I kind of want it more on the lighter gray side. And then all I'm going to be doing is that on each side. And you could switch it up. You could have both of the wings on that side. Okay, then we're going to go back into the black, and we're going to be putting little antennas. I'm assuming that's what that is. And then the guys that are like on the side. Well, I guess they're still in the same position, but it looks cool. Looks like they're all going somewhere a little different. And then we're going to go into the white. And we're just going to create a little trail. Where they're going. Make it a loop. You can even make it a very short distance. And the next thing that I'll be painting on the jar is the grass, and I just do a little bit of a couple of blades, and I mix in some green and yellow, and then I do different shades of that green and yellow as well and add it on. And I put the yellow in the middle for the middle part of the flower, and then I mix together a little bit of yellow and white, and then I just go around and make the petals for it. I just do something really simple, and just kind of fit in with the theme of it being kind of kiddish but cute. And with the next jar, when I go and paint the clouds, I mix a very tiny amount of blue with white, and I have that as like the base color, and then we're going to be adding more on top. And all I do is just go into I don't know what you want to call that, almost like a hump, half circle kind of motion, and I go around the whole area and just do a circle, and I can make it like longer or shorter, or I can do a very like bigger cloud with it. And so the next thing I'll be adding is a darker shade, and we're gonna have that underneath of the cloud. And then later on we're gonna be adding other colors and other shades of blue, so that all of that, or I guess more like white and blue, so that all of it can kind of blend in well together. And so I go in with that same color that was from the top part of the cloud, the main foundation, the base part, and I'm just sort of blending it in together. And I'm also creating a little bit of another half circle that is around where the two meet together, but then also add in a little bit underneath so that there's some texture. And I go in with white. I think it's just like pure white, I think it is. And I just add that to the top of the clouds and also a little bit towards the middle to kind of give it a shine. And then on the edges, I add a little bit more of the cloud going off to the side, and little tiny clouds that are sort of next to it. I don't go fully into the video of detail with it, but you can go and really create any type of cloud that you want in terms of how you want it to fade off to the side. Now, if you want, you can put some sort of clear coat on it. At the moment, I didn't do it. I'm not sure if we have any, but in the future, I do plan to do that. Okay, so next, once everything is dry, this one is dry. Yeah, just about. So what we're going to be doing next is, grab the wrong thing. All right, here's my pencil. We're going to be cutting out the paper, and we're going to be folding it in half so that it is doubled, and we're just going to create a circle around, and this is where we are going to be cutting the paper. Okay, it's okay if it's not perfect. Whoops. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to be doing is hot gluing the bottom of the circle, well, the circle onto the bottom of the jar, and then I'm gonna hot glue the other one together as well. So we're gonna be making essentially a little hanging rope piece for our jar. And so we've got our rope that is in a circle and a loop. And so the first thing we're gonna do is create a circle with it crisscrossed, and we're going to place the jar right on top. Make sure that the pieces right here and here are evenly, and we're going to take our knot. Hold up, I gotta fix it. And with the knot, I placed it up top, and we're gonna bring it here and put it into the circle. We're gonna pull through, and then right here, we want to create 2 circles, and then this big piece is gonna come forward. And we're going to take these and put them over top these pieces. So they're going to come through. And then you pull. And this is kind of tricky to do, I'm not gonna lie. And so I found an easy way is to flip it and sort of readjust where you want it to be. I'm trying to bring this piece of rope farther down. It is very tricky. Okay, so when you're happy with how it is, what we're going to do is turn it around and we're going to hot glue this down. Alright, so as we wait and let that sit and dry, we're going to work on the next project. And so we're just going to take this rope and essentially just wrap it around like that. And so what I'm going to do to start it off is I'm going to hot glue the first piece down. now I'm just gonna slowly start wrapping. And it's okay if you double wrap it, if you make it really like thick or really thin. I was trying to test this before, and I found that the rope really just sits on the ridges of at least this jar, and so I like to go back and kind of fill in that gap when I circle back around. Then we'll just cut, and then we can hot glue that end piece. And let that dry off with the other jar. Okay, so the last final thing, well, except for putting the lights in, we're going to cut up some of this tissue paper and we're going to put it inside of the jar, and then afterwards we'll put the light right on top. Okay, now we're gonna put the lights in. We'll turn them on.